you, baby.
I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
Say it louder, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass jump, gotta make it last now. Girl, I'm so thin, I'ma beat it up.
Man, I got so much on my mind. And if I don't let it out, I'm gonna explode straight up. I'm sitting here looking at all these people around me, thinking if I wasn't an art, tell me where would they be? Most of them don't even care about Robert Kelly, no. They only care about what I can do for them. Some of them hang around me cause I got money. Tell me what happened to my whole family. Can't they see I'm going through? Little brother really needs them. I was there for them when they needed me, yeah. Soon as the drama come, y'all asses quick to run. What type of shit is that? How could y'all turn y'all backs? People, they smile right in your face, then go and talk behind your back when they don't even know the facts. And some of y'all church folks pointing the finger at me, yeah. You should be loving on me, on your knees and praying for me. You'll never get it right. Is that the Christian life? Sometimes I like to party, drink, have sex, and smoke weed. But just because I love them things, it doesn't mean I'm going crazy. God, I wish I knew why people wanna hate me. When all I do is help them, try my best to love them, try to lift them up, but they don't appreciate your
The Empire Takeover.
I'm listening, I'm listening, I'm listening. I hear you. I'm so sorry for his mess ups and all the things he took you through. I know you must be fed up with his bullshit and all the things he do. Need to teach him a lesson, show him just how much you worth. Leave your sorry ass in the dirt and take your ass to the club and flirt. Nothing
The Empire Takeover.
nigga do, nothing he say is true. Don't give a damn about you, baby. Take it for instance, nothing but some hugs and kisses. Whenever you with me, baby, think you down and drive you crazy. Yes, I'm hating, I'm hating, I'm hating, I'm hating. do. Why trying to come up off you? I'll be going down on you. Broke ass nigga, always giving him your check. I'll be that nigga that'll have you shopping on the internet. Take you club and pop some bottles, girl, we can't do that. Get that killer fire Joe, girl, we can't do that. And if you saw some cute shoes that you really like, he can't buy you that. And if some shit was to go down, he ain't got your back. I'm hating. He don't do you right, yeah.
The Empire Takeover.
January boy, remix money.
Hail Mary. Full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. I swear that's what she said. Shawty looking at me, she's a flirt. All night creeper, let her know I put in work. But it's something I gotta teach her. Bust it open, bring it back. I'll be ready to attack. Got an automatic weapon, it go plat. She's a wifey in the street, sweet like a dove. Key in her ignition, now she rolling with a thug. She know that I keep her strong, and you know where I'm from. It's that Chi-Town boy, and I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues. In tongues. In tongues. I got them speaking in tongues.
She be like, Ludacris, don't nobody give it to me like you do. I cast a spell on them. They be think I'm doing voodoo. Can't understand the words you saying. You need a translator. I aim before I shoot, then I assassinate her. She be catching that Holy Ghost. She had a loss for words. Said she really wanna wet the fabric, so I'm a softened nerd. Was a good girl when I met her, and she was so pure. Now I got her in the back room talking about Hanam Harenge cure. That's what you get when you messing with the boys in the hood that's from the South. We be like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? She got just what she wanted, and she know I'm home. I guess that's why it seems.
I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues. In tongues. In tongues. I got them all speaking. She would 6 days a week. Get off on a Sunday. Come over late at night and then I eat it like a Sunday. She know that I'm a heavyweight, more money than collection play. She tired and she sliding on me like a tidal wave. I mean, Shawty's so fine, you need to pray for her. She yelling, but I don't know what she's saying to me. She's speaking languages that I ain't never heard. Call her Dirty Diana, man, the way she make it jerk. She know that I keep her strong, and you know where I'm from. It's that Chi-Town boy, and I got these honeys speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
In tongues.
Let's go.
In tongues. In tongues. I got them all speaking in tongues. Shawty, what you say? Shawty, what you say? Shawty, what you say?
Hey, what you say now? It's that B-more boy.
I got these honeys speaking in tongues. In tongues.
I got them
In tongues. In tongues.
What's up on a Sunday? We doing it like this on a Sunday. Oh, yeah. And I can't be as negative. Nah, I got to hit it before I go in, man. I got to hit it one time. One time before I go in. One time before I go in, all right? I got to hit it one time. And I got hit one time. Oh, man. Shout out to Mo3. So we're gonna do it like this before I go. We're gonna knock it out like this. So last night, we had an epic live last night, right? The live last night, I intended for it to only be an hour and 20 minutes, but it lasted 4 hours and 36 minutes. For people that went to go looking for it, YouTube is hating. Jay-Z and Rock Nation blocked the song Not Guilty. So I had to go and take that song out, and now it is, let me tell you where we at with this right now. Right now, it is sitting on, let's see. And I'ma keep it gangster to the day I die. Right now, it's on processing up to HD. And it say no estimate. So what I did is you can go to my community wall. I uploaded it to Rumble Planet. Everything is facts. You can look at it. But I'm going to give you a little snippet of it because I'm going to use a piece of it from last night. We're going to get into some real shit. So last night, this happened. This happened last night. And I want you to sit back and watch this because it got real. So all of y'all that missed it, here's a snippet of what happened last night. So at the end of the day, y'all can try to come at me with it, but I'll debunk everything and destroy all of your narratives. And y'all still haven't answered the question. What have y'all done for Robert Sylvester Kelly in the last 4 years? And from what I'm hearing, you want another channel. You asking Levi to hit the channel, but you just dog Levi. But that's not my monkey, not my show. I invited you a chance to come here. I guess you declined. So I put the facts out there in front of everybody. From the fake Cash App all the way up to you trying to investigate me instead of you investigating things for Robert Sylvester Kelly. Now, I got something else to play. Watch this.
Ever pull up on me? You understand? Pull up the countless press conferences that I've had where I went after drug dealers and drug organizations. And by night, dude, I was there for
drug lords. Honey, I stand on that. And it won't happen again. And I won't ever speak on Shawn Harris again. But we the 5 people, Julius, allegedly went after.
There for over 3 years. And I served in that department for over 20 years. So I'm not no fly-by-night dude. Ever pull up on me? You understand? Pull up the countless press conferences that I've had where I went after drug dealers and drug organizations, where I have partnerships with the FBI, the ATF, the DEA. You understand? Yeah. Homeland Security. So that's what I'm talking about. He trying to call me some fly-by-night dude. No, I wasn't no fly-by-night dude. I was there for over 3 years. And I served in that department for over 20 years. So I'm not no fly-by-night dude. Ever pull up on me? You understand? Pull up the count by night, dude. I was there for over.
Have partnerships with the ATF, DEA, FBI, and Homeland Security, which now explains how you can go after all these drug lords that you allegedly went after, but you couldn't get 10 people to testify in the R. Kelly case. I need y'all to make this make sense, people. You went after all these drug lords. You have all these drug cases that you won, but you couldn't get 10 people to testify in the R. Kelly case. So you say. You went after all these drug lords, was successful with bringing all these drug kingpins, but you couldn't get 10 people in Chicago or in New York that been through the same thing that Mr. Robert been through to testify about the superstar lifestyle. You say you're going to put papers on me because I say you stole money. I stand on that. Here's why I stand on that. If you get $45,000 to pay for people to fly in to testify for Robert Sylvester Kelly trial, nobody comes except for 5 people. Julius, some guy we don't know, and 3 other folks. If you was given that much money
and nobody came in. Where's the refund for that money going back to Mr. Kelly? And we don't want you to tell us. We want you to show us the receipt of you refunding 45 grand back to Mr. Kelly. On top of that, we need to see, we the people, because remember you investigated the defense fund, right? And I told you, don't let your very thing come and bite you in your ass. So we the people, we want to see your call logs. We deserve that right. You come in public and lying, right? So shut me up. And if you can shut me up with that, I will come public and say, you know what? I owe Shawn Harris an apology. I overstepped my boundaries and spoke on something I know nothing about. And it won't happen again. And I won't ever speak on Shawn Harris again. But we the people, we demand to see your call logs. And I will call these people one by one, all 50 people, one by one on live, and ask them, did you call them to testify in Robert Sylvester Kelly case? You got to give the people what they want. We just heard Kip ask you, why are you calling me? Instead of you being macho, you could have said, bro, I'm only calling you because I want you to testify in the R. Kelly case. That would have squashed all of that. But you didn't, because you had an ulterior motive. So we want to know, what role do your wife play in your organization? And we want to see her credentials and her license. We demand that, and we have a right to demand that. So from this day forth, whoever panel he show up on, everybody walk away from. Let's blackball him until he show the real fans, supporters, and friends that he didn't mismanage R. Kelly's money for his trial and that he didn't botch his trial. It's only fair. That's only fair. And watch this. With him having partnerships with ATF, DEA. Hold on. I'm going to play it again so you can hear it.
Ever pull up on me? You understand? Pull up the countless press conferences that I've had, where I went after drug dealers and drug organizations, where I have partnerships with the FBI, the ATF, the DEA. You understand? Yeah. Homeland Security. So that's what I'm talking about. He trying to call me.
So since he had partnerships with the ATF, the DEA, the FBI, and the Homeland Security, it only makes sense that you were sent in by the government to ensure Robert Sylvester Kelly don't have a defense. And your only thing is to pose like you really cared about Robert Sylvester Kelly, get in close, get information, and then rely it to the government as a secret informant. Am I lying? That's the only way you can do it. That's the only way you can do it. Please do not put that lady's name in my chat. I do not fuck with her. Please. So the only way we can look at it is if Shawn Harris and his wife was put into place to make sure Robert Sylvester Kelly, to ensure that Robert Sylvester Kelly do not have a defense along with the other people that's around. So therefore, that's how they were able to form the RICO and have the enterprise. Because if you notice, Shawn have actors, like the one channel he on now, have actors to do stupid things in the name of R. Kelly. I'm just saying, Make this make sense for me. Any other thing, it don't make sense. So he was used by the government to put in place to really ensure that Robert Sylvester Kelly do not have a defense. They knew Robert was vulnerable. That's how letters was snuck out and then wrote up and did this and did that and did this and did that. So at the end of the day, now we know what his role was. Now we know what his wife's role was. His wife role was to aid her husband and making sure that the supporters stayed discombobulated, that Robert wasn't able to really understand who's really out there for him, and to run off Robert's real family and supporters and friends, and to ensure that anything that Robert told Shawn Hurst can relay it back to the government. And the government can use it against Mr. Kelly. So Shawn Hurst got close to Keith and played on the heart that Keith is really rocking for his best friend and Robert Sylvester Kelly. The whole time, not only can we destroy the defense, we're around Keith so we can make him believe what we want him to believe. Not only that, we can keep feeding Keith bullshit. We can destroy what Robert had on the internet. We can cast doubt on everybody that stand 10 toes deep for Robert Sylvester Kelly. We can put these conspiracies together against certain people, but that stand for Robert Sylvester Kelly. We can get certain lawyers out the way, or we can get certain lawyers out the way, and we can replace them with our own lawyers. Just at the end of the day, Robert think he got hope, but we have ensured that Robert hope turns into nope. I'm just saying. We know that the real people that rock with Robert, know Robert is innocent. So I say that to say this. The BOP officer, you think you innocent. I'm going to find who you are. Oh, we got a guess. Let's go there. I'm with it. Hey, Shawn. Now, come on. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. And my question is, what have you done for Robert in the last 4 years, bro? Levi's not my boy. This is me and you talking. Well, I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't talk to Levi. So I don't know. This is me and you talking. Yeah. And 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 my question is, what have you done for Mr. Kelly in 4 years? Your playback is on or something. Cut your playback down. Hold on. I got feedback. Cool. So the question is, what have you?
Hold on. I don't have no sound. I done muted everything. Hold on.
Hold on. I'm not a professional at this like you. So I'm just trying to figure this out.
Man, it's a lot of darts being thrown, man. I thought we was adults, bro. Because you know I can throw shots with the best of them. So I thought we was adults. We don't gotta throw shots.
I said I'm not a professional at this YouTube stuff. I'm trying to figure this out.
Right.
I don't know. Because I'm getting feedback. And I'm trying to mute this. Because I'm getting feedback. Oh, all right, hold on. Maybe that's it. All right.
Can you hear me? Everything good?
Let me see. Yeah, I guess I can hear you a little bit better.
Can you hear me? Everything good? So my question to you is, since the term is due to work, what have you done for Robert Sylvester Kelly in 4 years?
First of all, this ain't no interview.
What have you done for Robert Sylvester Kelly?
All right, this ain't no interview. Yeah, because you listen. I don't talk about privilege. I don't talk about privileged information.
The right way, or we ain't gonna do it at all. Plain and simple. Any other time and you popped up on my shit, you ain't have a problem with asking questions.
I said I'm not talking about privileged
questions
information.
that motherfuckers ain't gonna ask you. So I'm gonna ask you real shit. It's either you gonna answer the questions or you're not.
I said I don't talk about privileged information.
It's not privilege. Because we
It
don't
is privilege.
Listen,
What goes on between the defense team is privileged information.
Listen, you spinning the folks.
I'm not spinning nothing.
And you can tell what you did, bro. What have you done?
What have you done?
No, it's not about me. It's about you.
No, you make it about you all the time.
I never make it about me. But
Yeah.
listen, let's
get at the. Hold on. You talking about we had a conversation?
I've asked you a question.
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation.
Nah, bro. I've asked you a question. Are you going to answer or not?
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation that you had 50. That you have 50 witnesses, and that you're going to give me
nothing. I said. Don't spend. That's what the fuck I said. Don't spend nothing. I said.
So you saying that we had a conversation?
Don't spend nothing. I said. Yes, we had a conversation at the
about 50 witnesses.
About 50 witnesses, motherfucker.
That's what you saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's my word. I stand on it. And I asked you about calling Kit and everybody else, and you said, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I got it." So am I lying? Of course. Like I said. At the end of the day, we don't gotta lie. Everything good?
Let me see. Yeah, I guess I can hear you a little bit better.
Can you hear me? Everything good? So my question to you is, since the term is due to work, what have you done for Robert Sylvester Kelly in 4 years?
First of all, this ain't no interview.
What have you done for Robert Sylvester Kelly?
All right, this ain't no interview. Yeah, because you listen. I don't talk about privilege. I don't talk about privileged information.
The right way, or we ain't gonna do it at all. Plain and simple. Any other time and you popped up on my shit, you ain't have a problem with asking questions.
I said I'm not talking about privileged information.
That motherfuckers ain't gonna ask you. So I'm gonna ask you real shit. It's either you gonna answer the questions or you're not.
I said I don't talk about privileged information.
It's not privilege. Because
it is privilege. What goes on between the defense team is privileged information.
Listen, you spinning the folks.
I'm not spinning nothing.
And you can tell what you did, bro. What have you done?
What have you done?
No, it's not about me. It's about you. No,
you make it about you all the time.
I never make it about me.
Yeah.
But listen, let's
So,
not.
so let's get at the. Hold on. You talking about we had a conversation?
I've asked you a question.
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation.
Nah, bro. I've asked you a question. Are you going to answer or not?
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation that you had 50 witnesses, and that you was going to give me
nothing. I said. Don't spend. That's what the fuck I said. Don't spend nothing. I said.
So you saying that we had a conversation?
Don't spend nothing. I said. Yes, we had a conversation at the
about 50 witnesses.
About 50 witnesses, motherfucker.
That's what you saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's my word. I stand on it. And I asked you about calling Kit and everybody else, and you said, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I got it. So am I lying? Of course. Like I said.
I'm not talking about privileged information.
That motherfuckers ain't going to ask you. So I'm going to ask you real shit. It's either you going to answer the questions or you're not.
I said I don't talk about privileged information.
It's not privilege. Because
it is privilege. What goes on between the defense team is privileged information.
Listen, you're spinning the folks.
I'm not spinning nothing.
And you can tell what you did, bro. What have you done?
What have you done?
No, it's not about me. It's about you.
No, you make it about you all the time.
I never make it about me.
Yeah.
But listen, let's
get at the. Hold on. You talking about we had a conversation?
I've asked you a question.
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation.
Nah, bro. I've asked you a question. Are you going to answer or not?
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation that you had 50 witnesses, and that you was going to give me
nothing. I said. Don't spend. That's what the fuck I said. Don't spend nothing. I said.
So you saying that we had a conversation?
Don't spend nothing. I said. Yes, we had a conversation at the
about 50 witnesses.
About 50 witnesses, motherfucker.
That's what you saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's my word. I stand on it. And I asked you about calling Kit and everybody else, and you said, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I got it. So am I lying? Of course.
Make it about you all the time.
I never make it about me.
Yeah.
Listen, let's
get at the. Hold on. You talking about we had a conversation?
I've asked you a question.
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation.
Nah, bro. I've asked you a question. Are you going to answer or not?
Hold on. You said that we had a conversation that you had 50 witnesses, and that you was going to give me
nothing. I said. Don't spend. That's what the fuck I said. Don't spend nothing. I said.
So you saying that we had a conversation?
Don't spend nothing. I said. Yes, we had a conversation at the
about 50 witnesses.
About 50 witnesses, motherfucker.
That's what you saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's my word. I stand on it. And I asked you about calling Kit and everybody else, and you said, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I got it. So am I lying? I played that part for a reason. For the stupid people over there that said I clicked them off, you clearly see my hands was up by my chest when he clicked off after he waved me off because he couldn't handle the heat. So when motherfuckers sit there and say, "You clicked him off, you did this," no. That's all you gotta do is go back and watch the goddamn. Just go back and watch the goddamn audio. I mean, in the video. Everything is there. I don't have to click nobody off. But what I will say is that I'm a man of integrity. And since I'm a man of integrity, I got to come to the people and tell the truth. I told y'all he got 45 grand, right? Well, my number was off by a long shot. After speaking with who I had to speak with today, it was confirmed that he got 250 grand for 50 people to come and testify. And that cover flights, hotel, and per diem for them staying any extra days. I said, I stand corrected. So I got to correct the total. It wasn't 45 grand. It was 250 grand. And that covered for people to fly in from wherever. So it covered flight back and forth. It covered hotel. And it covered per diem. Now, since only 5 people came, give or take, Julius, Larry, Julius, the police officer. I think the police officer was Larry. I'm not sure, but I want to say Larry. And 3 other, one guy and 3 other people. Put like that. Okay. Those 5 people probably total up to about 5 grand. Let's give or take about 10 grand. So that means it's 240,000 that's not accounted for. Shawn Hurst, we the people. And I know they envy me. But that's why I got this motherfucker back here, because they envy the fuck out of me. So Shawn Hurst, we the people. We demand to see a tally account. And a tally account of 240 grand going back to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's account, or to Bonjean, or to whoever. I asked the question, what have you done for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly in 4 years? And you said, I can't, tell the strategy of the defense. No, we don't want to know the strategy of the defense, bro. We just want to know, what have you done? That's all we want to know. And just like the tap dancing chicken shuffle guy, you did the same thing. You bobbed and weaved like a motherfucker. Then you ain't want to answer the question. You threw your hand up like this and you dotted. Then you went to your live and lied to those people and said, I kicked you off my panel. Why would you do that? Why would you lie like that? Why would I kick you off the panel when I had more questions? I only had 4 more. 5 questions that will seal your fate with the world. Or 5 questions that could have put you in the good graces of the world. But you couldn't even answer that. You couldn't even answer that. You couldn't even be man enough to answer that. But you want to sling mud. You want to do this. Or what have you done? No, we ain't going to deflect. Also, we the people demand to see your call log of the 50 people that denied coming to testify and for R. Kelly, because I'm going to keep it a buck. You saying everybody that you call denied testifying and for R. Kelly, right? When you had Will that you was eating with there. You had Keith that you was eating with, walking with, talking with, stressing out there. That's 2 so far. You had Bobby that you was eating with, talking with, that you stole some money from there. You had me there. I ain't really fuck with you, but we did eat together and we did talk a little bit and you shared some shit. Yeah. You had Doobie that was there, that you ate with, broke bread with, told lies to about me and thought it wasn't going to get back to me. So you had Dana, Will, Keith, Doobie, Bobby. You had 5 right there. If you would have added that 5 on top of the 5 that took place, that's 10. If you wouldn't have been cocky and trying to upgrade Kip, you would have had Kip. Then I sat there and told you to your face, I got every number you need. That's all you got to do is let them know that you're the new PI and that you need them to come testify for Robert Kelly. You couldn't even do that. Nah, man, I got it. Oh, we good. And nobody showed up. And the money didn't go back to where it was at. Why? So the question would be, well, Dana, you saying this about this man, but he still talked to Mr. Kelly. And I'm gonna tell y'all where it came from. It came from Snaggletooth and your mama over there that said I'm wrong and for asking these questions. Wait a minute. This is what she said. This is what she said. This is what she said. She said, "Come on, guys. I'm just saying, you know, Bookham, he always saying stuff, but you know, the money that was there, and we believe that he was wrong, y'all. We believe Bookham was wrong because Bookham asked Mr. Harris about personal questions. Bookham, y'all, asked Mr. Harris, why, or what have he done in the last 4 years? That's none of your business, Bookham. That's none of your business, Bookham. Bookham, that's none of your business. You don't have a right to ask Mr. Harris about anything. He's helping Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. He's helping Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. He's helping Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Bookham, you already got Don Russell Bookham. Now you trying to get Mr. Harris. Bookham. You know, Bookham always got something to say, y'all. But you know, we don't believe Bookham. No, we don't believe Bookham, y'all. We don't believe Bookham. We can't believe Bookham. We can't believe Bookham. And I'm going to tell you why we can't believe Bookham. Because everything he say makes sense and we want y'all to stay dumb. So as long as y'all believe us, then y'all going to stay dumb. Don't listen to Bookham because he makes a lot of goddamn sense on these YouTube streets concerning Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Yes, he do. Yes. And so as long as I'm Jacqueline Hurst with a PPP loan with no business, you can just keep listening to me because I don't know shit. I never knew shit. But, you know, this is just shits and giggles. Yeah, this is shits and giggles. And don't pay me no attention. Yeah, I did get my teeth fixed. It's a little crooked, but I got my teeth fixed. But when you come on my channel tomorrow, that little gap right here is going to be open and it's going to be black right here. And this part going to be missing. So just don't pay that no attention right now, children. Don't pay that shit no attention. At the end of the day, it just trips me out. Go back into my acting corner. At the end of the day, it just tripped me out because no matter what she say, she rocks with anybody who don't like me, and that's fine. I get that. So what I'm going to do is, Mr. Shawn Hurst, I'm going to invite you over here again. And please bring your wife because I got questions for both of y'all. See what happens when you do shit and you put certain shit in motion? It gives me time to think and go look at shit. And then I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Hurst. You will not be disrespected over here. I'm not going to disrespect you. And I'm not going to allow nobody else to disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? I just want questions answered. That's all I want. And if you can answer them questions with a logical thought and great aspirations, then guess what? Maybe we can set the internet on fire from being able to talk and get some shit done. But also with the call log, I want to be able to call them people live with you here. And I want to ask them people questions of did you contact them? And see what they say. But when I went off the air last night, I got confronted with some shit that sound like this.
And as far as stealing money, please explain to me how I'm able to steal money when the man doesn't have any money.
Let me address that. You said the man doesn't have any money, right? So how were you able to steal money? So who gave you the 250 grand, since you was the PI, to have everybody else fly in? If you're a PI, what is the point of you coming on the internet, doing whatever, trying to investigate me? But as you say, he's broke. He don't have no money, right? Okay, so since he don't have no money, how are you able to pay your bills? Because you don't have a job and your company don't bring in that much money. You even said that you make under 100 grand. You got an upteen amount of kids and you have an expensive wife, but I got an expensive shopping habit. You got a big ass house and multiple cars. Stop it, bro. I will break your life down. So when you go on your platform and ask stupid ass questions, I come with real get 'em ass answers. So your 250,000 that was given to you, right? I took 10,000 out of it. Where's the rest of it that was supposed to go back to Mr. Kelly? Make this make sense. Let's finish what you said.
When the government takes his money.
So the government takes his money. So is that why you put the first Cash App out there so that way that you can take money and make it for yourself? Because check it. If the government takes his money, right, and you raise money via Cash App the first time, right, how would you be able to get the money to him if the government takes his money? Don't play on the hearts of the people. Let's play on the reality of what's going on. You ain't going to walk into jail with 30,000 and just say, Mr. Kelly, here's your money. Bullshit. You wasn't going to put it on his books because then the government would have snatched that. So who really needed rent money? I said I wasn't going to do it, but now I have to. Because it's cool when y'all do it. But when I do it, it's a problem. Who really needed rent money with you not working and Rob really not dealing with you like that, Shawn? Who was this rent money for? It certainly wasn't Joy. And I ain't talking about the latest thing with Levi. I'm talking about the thing 8 months ago, 9 months ago, with you and the rest of your get along gang, the Enterprise. Let's finish.
I don't know. Is it because, you know, my mother-in-law, great woman. Great woman. I love that woman. And she has a favorite saying that people accuse you of things that they're guilty of. Ladies, how many times you've been in a relationship and you think the man is cheating on you and he come home and start accusing you of cheating? Do you say those words sometime? That he accused you of cheating because he cheating?
Well, let's go here. I know my hands clean. I know I ain't never touched no money. Let's put your lying tongue against my facts. And we can bring people involved. We can call names to the carpet and have them get involved. And I'm talking about the main people that know what's going on. So we can handle it either way you want. I'm prepared. $250,000, bro. 240 of it you put in your pocket. That's why y'all haven't heard Joy needed rent money for a while. I'm just gonna put it out there. Shout out to Hollywood Next because she diverted a lot of them funds straight to the MCC. And he got mad. Why would you get mad, Shawn? Because she diverted the funds to the MCC instead of to that Cash App. Let's finish.
All right. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
People accuse you of things that you're guilty of, that they guilty of.
Wow. Oh, you said it right. People accuse you of things that you're guilty of. You said it right.
I'm not bragging or nothing, but two things. At the age of 45, I was.
Hold on.
I have too much integrity for that. I have my own money. I have my own business where I pay employees every week.
Well, hold on. Hold on. If you pay employees every week, somebody lying. Because when I pulled your shit up last time, your business, it clearly said you didn't have any employees. Y'all that seen that last night, am I lying? It clearly said this employer does not have no employees at this time. So now you got employees that you pay every week now. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
What happened, Mom? Oh, our cousin said he's sending videos about running. All right, where do you want to send it to? Tell me. You need email addresses? You need phone numbers? What you need? I'm very well respected in my neighborhood, in my community, for my peers. The only ones that probably don't like me is the ones that I went after for misconduct and corruption. So I don't expect no love from them.
Wow. Let's hear some more.
In my community. For my peers. The only ones that probably don't like me is the ones that I went after for misconduct and corruption. So I don't expect no love from them. So I'm stealing. Listen, I never said that you stole from the defense fund.
You're a lie.
I just said, where's the money?
You're a lie. You're a lie. See how you lie?
Because Rob ain't getting none of that money.
See how you lie?
He ain't getting none of that money. At least from what he told me. Somebody show a canceled check. Show a receipt. Show a transfer. Yeah, I know you're going to get on there and say that, yeah, I went to go see Doug Anton. Yeah, I went to go see it. Yeah. And I'm not going to talk about that. That's between me and Doug. I'm not.
Oh! You ain't going to talk about that because it's going to prove that DanaJay has been telling the truth the whole time once again. Let's finish. You don't want to talk about the real stuff. It's burning his fat ass up. Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
You want to start off by asking me about a whole bunch of BS about some 50 witnesses? Like, let me tell you something. We did not talk.
I got one question to ask y'all. He was on my platform. Why couldn't he say it right there in front of everybody that me and him ain't never talk about 50 witnesses? Why did he have to get off my platform and go lie to them slow ass people over there, to them drunks and to them pill poppers and all them dumb people over there, but that's gonna eat that shit up, and then say we didn't talk about 50 witnesses? He could have said that right there because we was talking like men. I haven't even raised my voice. So why would you run from having this type of situation where you could have cleared it all up and then run to your goddamn platform and lie? Let's see.
Don't act like we were cool, man. Are not, and
I never said that we was cool. Now I'm gonna go into the shit. Keith is the one that said, yo, y'all gotta be on some type of cordial shit. Y'all gotta be cool. You told Keith that me and you was beefing, and I ain't know nothing about we was beefing because we had squashed that shit when you was walking through the park with your little mistress, Cassandra, Lisa, and Sylvia. So with that being said, Keith is the one that said, yo, y'all gotta be cool. I told Keith for a fact, I said, yo, I don't fuck with this nigga. I don't like this nigga, and he bad news. Keith said to me verbatim, Dana, this is not about your feelings. It's not about you. It's about Rob. Rob lost everything. Everybody got to come together. And I said, Keith, how can we come together and you got snake motherfuckers like that? Keith said, you keep harping on that. Why do you say that? And I said, you know what? You gonna find out. But then he said, well, Dana, he's mad because you talking about fucking his wife. I said, Keith, that was a year ago. Me and him talked since that. And Shawn went one way, me, Keith, and Bobby went another way. And that's when Nicole and Tom wouldn't even talk to this nigga. They waited until Keith got from around this nigga and then met back up and with Keith just to talk to Keith because they ain't like this nigga. So when I tell you that I don't have to lie about shit, I just won't speak on certain stuff. But when you put that lie out there, I'm going to put the truth and I'm going to fill in all the motherfucking blanks. Here we go.
Will never be cool. I tolerated your ass.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
actually, it was only because of Bobby.
Ooh.
Out of respect for him.
Ooh, okay.
If it wasn't for Bobby, you wouldn't have been around me.
Okay.
Not straight up.
Okay. So, because of Bobby, he tolerated me. If it wasn't for Bobby, I wouldn't have been around his ass. I think you need to ask Bobby exactly how the fuck I really felt about you. Because if it wasn't for Keith and Bobby, I would have beat your ass at that motherfucking table. Like I was starting to do. And both of them told me, not here, DJ. This is not the type for this. Do not do that. I respect my big brothers, so I left it alone. I wasn't the one hiding and behind a motherfucking tree. And then when Bobby and Keith went to eat, you go over there and try to motherfucking break bread with them, and they both walked away from you because they said they don't know what the fuck you on and they don't got time for the shit. That's why you came back trying to tell me 100 yards later, faking like, and you was on the phone calling somebody. Trust me, if I hop on a horn and call and make a call, and I'm tailing you to the place where you eat, then you walk past and look me in my face and look me up and down and grin. And then I'm tailing you back down to the park. By the time you got to the park, nigga, you would have got smashed. Because 10 times out of 10, when you would have walked past me and gritted me, I would have popped you in your face right then and there. And it would have been me and you. But if it ever would have had to escalate into where other dudes got to get involved that fuck with me, you would have got smashed and before you got there. And that's not a threat. That's shit that happens. That's why when you claimed you came to Atlanta, DanaJay wasn't notified and you was quiet as a mouse. You could have crept up on me, blew my head off, did whatever. But you know, like I know, you ain't want that smoke with me. So I leave the shit alone. I leave it on internet. Because y'all are friendly motherfucking people. For you to say, oh, I tolerated you. You always spoke to me first. I ain't never speak to you like that. If you think I'm lying, me and Blade don't get along. But ask Blade, she was there. You tried to crack Slick and was verbally sucking my dick at the same time. So I get it. And you got to put on for your crew. Do what you do. I don't got no beef with that. Have fun with it. But let's not act like we some thorough ass people. Let's finish.
And then you talking about what are you talking about? Hold on.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Hold on. Play it.
What is he talking about again?
You don't know.
It's like, you know when DanaJay is lying?
When?
Can somebody tell me when DanaJay is lying?
When? Because you all over the place.
Somebody tell me when DanaJay is lying.
Yeah, please somebody tell me when I'm lying.
No, I can't wait no more. Every time he lies, every time he moves his lips, he's lying. Anytime he moves his lips, he's lying. Anytime he moves those DSLs, he's lying.
Ooh.
And y'all probably could figure out what I mean when I say DSLs.
Ooh. See, I can get real ignorant right now. Nah, I ain't gonna do
I'm not even gonna go into
I ain't gonna do that.
all the stuff he uses his mouth for besides talking shit.
Now, mind you, this supposed to be Rob's PI. This supposed to be Rob's PI. I don't get it. I mean, I'm just...
I had a conversation with all the women that were there that day. And I basically told them that the shit gotta stop. The bullshit, whatever beefs you got online or whatever, I don't care who don't like who. You know, when you come into that building, you gotta leave that shit at the door. Because what's gonna happen is, ain't none of y'all gonna be allowed to come up in here. I said, come on, because you're embarrassing Rob. You here for him. Because they told me, they were like, Shawn, we done had bigger trials than this in here. We done had El Chapo. They had El Chapo in there a few months before. And they said they didn't go through none of the BS that they was going through with R. Kelly's people. So they was ready to shut it down. Now, mind you, I'm dealing with marshals. I'm dealing with the court officers. And that's because they know who I am. That's a courtesy. They extended professional courtesy to me.
Yeah, because you being Ann Donnelly.
So I wasn't in control of anything. They extended professional courtesy to me because they knew who I was. Because the U.S. Marshal himself for the Eastern District knew who I was, and he extended professional courtesy to me. So now, being that I, arrange for people to be separated, including Dottie, I guess that's where the rumor came from that I was sleeping with Dottie.
Oh my God!
And
is he mind fucking his people?
Comments like that I was sleeping with Dottie. Who else was I sleeping with? I can't even remember these people. Cassandra. Who's the other one?
That came out of your mouth.
Mommy. Who's the other one that I was sleeping with?
Mommy? What the fuck?
Who's the other one I was sleeping with besides Dottie?
Mommy? Hold on. Hold the fuck up. Did I just hear him call somebody mommy? But that came out of his mouth. He the one that said he was fucking Dottie and Cassandra. Not me. That's not a rumor. But then he said, watch this. Then he said, because I arranged for people to be separated. How was he arranged for people to be separated if he didn't have no pull, if he didn't operate in that courtroom or that courthouse? And why would you separate Dottie from everybody else if you ain't, like you said, if you ain't spanking that? See, the more he talked, the more questions come to my mind. But let's finish.
Anyway, it's still reckless to be saying that stuff. Because these women are married, I'm married, you know, and that's just like, you know, it's just reckless. You know, and if I didn't have the things that I have, and if I didn't have anything to lose, I would have fucked you up, Dana.
Ooh.
I wanted to fuck you up that day when I came for the sentencing.
Ooh.
I wanted to. Yeah, I was walking behind you. Yeah, because it was contemplating. I was contemplating. I was ready to fuck you up. Yeah.
Ooh.
I had on a polo shirt and jeans. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I hope you're watching. I hope you're recording. But I want you to go back and play this again. I know, Mommy. No. I wasn't going to whip his ass. I wanted to. See, what I want to do and what I am going to do are two different things.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
What I want to do and what I'm going to do is two different things. But if I wasn't who I was and who I am, yeah, you'd have got these hands, nigga.
And what was I supposed to do while you was trying to fuck me up? What was I supposed to do?
Mouth. Okay. I was gonna bust you right in your fucking mouth. Ooh. Nigga. Yep.
Ooh.
Like I used to tell them niggas in the street when they come at you with that. If you didn't have that gun and that badge, I'll whoop your ass. Let me tell you something, niggas. The gun and badge that saved your ass.
Ooh.
That's what saved you. Because I got too much to lose.
Ooh.
To be fucking with a low-life nigga like you.
Ooh.
All right? So run and tell that, bitch. I'm sorry, Mommy. Yo, he just take me there. Oh. So speaking of fucking you up, Dana, you remember this conversation? Remember when you came over?
Oh my God. Lord,
and
oh my God, Lord have mercy. I can't. Oh Lord, this is funny. Hold on. He said he gonna fuck me up. Jesus Christ.
So speaking of fucking you up, Dana, you remember this conversation? Remember when you came over and you was over there with us over at the diner, and I called you and Bobby over when you first got there, and you told that story too, but you didn't tell it all. You didn't tell the truth. So yeah, I called you over. I called you to the side, you and Bobby, and I told you straight up. I said, listen. We talk about stuff over here that don't need to be repeated. I said, my first instinct when I saw you over there was to tell you to get the fuck out of there. But out of respect for Bobby, being that you was there with him, I said, I'm gonna let you slide.
I was there with Bobby?
And then I told you just like this. I said, we talk about stuff, and if you overhear anything, that's not to be repeated. Okay? And I also told you that if I hear that you repeated anything that was said over there, that I was going to fuck you up. Just like that.
What?
Just like that. In front of Bobby. That's why I brought him over there, because I wanted that witness.
Is that what you said?
If you repeat anything that you hear over here, if you repeat it, I was going to fuck you up. And he was like, oh, come on, man. I said, I'm serious. So we don't play those games. We're allowing you to sit over there with us as a courtesy to Bobby.
God damn!
Because you his dude. And that's how that went.
Really? I cannot believe what I'm listening to. Okay. So watch this. Watch this. Since you're talking about Bobby, what time is it? 4:53. Okay. I'm puzzled because you adding on the shit that you never said. Everything I said that you said over there, you just repeated it, but you added on the shit. And that's when you was talking about Dottie got a fat ass, I'm spanking that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because the conversation that came out was, why is Dottie separated from everybody else? I told you, I'm going to let you tell on your motherfucking self. And you was like, man, but that's my little bitch for the time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. And I looked at you. And I said, oh, okay. You ain't never say, I'ma fuck you up, nigga. I would have popped you off GP. And you had your gun on your hip then. I would have popped you off GP. Now, since you keep saying I'm Bobby's boy, I get it where you get that from. Because, see, now I'm about to throw somebody under the bus. See, it's other motherfuckers that listen to you. And they kind of sided with you. But Bobby was the one that challenged everything you fucking said and showed you how much of a liar that you were. So anybody that challenges you, you got this issue with. Y'all can pretty much figure who the fuck I'm talking about now. But the minute you come out talking about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, man, I will beat your ass, bro. And you know that. Then you talk about, oh, I was walking behind you because I was contemplating about fucking you up. Okay. So can you explain why was you hiding behind a tree? Was you contemplating about fucking me up, hiding behind a tree? Why was you emulating talking on the phone? Like you had some boys coming to see me. Because you said that day was my day, right? I'm walking with no worries. The brightest motherfucker out there. I got on teal, green, and white. You could have fucked me up. You wouldn't even get close to me. When we was in a restaurant and you was standing there on the phone, faking like you was talking, and I walked real close to you. I looked at you and gritted and laughed and kept going. You ain't say shit. You ain't swing. You ain't do nothing. Now what's going to happen is now, and you're going to get in front of whatever courthouse, and you're going to fake like you don't do shit, and I'm going to pop you off GP. And the first thing they're going to say, oh, Dana's starting with Shawn. No, you brought this shit on yourself. You brought this shit on yourself. So now that I know that you contemplating fucking me up, now I'm going to give you a reason to try to fuck me up. So all the lies you telling to your internet friends, that's what you telling them. But watch this. If you wasn't spilling the beans on Dottie and Cassandra trying to get big ups because you know everybody was talking about both of their asses. Let's keep it a buck. If you wasn't trying to get points on, oh yeah, I'm fucking Dottie and I fuck Cassandra. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. If you wasn't trying to get big ups on it, right? Why what we talked about, you wanted private. And I kept it private until you played with me. Let's go back to Doug. Why won't you talk about what was discussed at Doug shit? Nothing was recorded. But you had Doug call me. I ain't called Doug for you. You went to try to get the defense fund money from Doug. But you get on here and tell everybody, oh yeah, Rob ain't get it. You're a fat, queer, eye for the straight guy, bitch. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful to your wife. But I got every right to disrespect your whole fucking household, including your kids. But I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to be the bigger man. Because your kids ain't do shit to me. And I ain't going to pull them into no shit like that. And I was wrong for even going that far of even thinking about that. But I know it's people like you that's behind all the attacks on me and my kids. So let's finish.
What happened? The next time you go live, you are going to interview me, and I will speak due to the fact that my name is over there in their mouths. Is that something that Fat Boy said?
Fat Boy? You bigger than me.
Is that what he said? All right, well, listen. See, I can't talk to that dude. Oh, all right. Then I will interview her. All right. Yeah, so the way that I'm gonna do it next time is I'm gonna be prepared with I'm gonna use my Blue Jeans studio, and that's the way. That's a good way to do it. Hold on for a minute. I'll be right back. Hold on. You got one female that was talking shit about the government. Was people's, because she heard conversations as far as you know, when he said that Levi is like his cousin and whatnot. And we know, and we know that that's not true. All right. The reason why I believe, and I'll find out soon why he said that, is because, you know, he wants help.
Did I just hear that? Oh, I'll find out soon. So you worried about people that's on the internet helping Rob or doing whatever for Rob, whatever, in whatever capacity they doing it in, versus trying to do what you can do to help Rob get out. But you the PI. Okay.
You know, and
how much more of this bullshit I gotta listen to?
You know, anybody that can help him. See, he told me that, he said, Shawn, he said, yo, bro, I'm in here for being a player. He said, I'm in here for being a player. Right after the New York trial, he said, yo, I'm in here for being a player. You know? And that's the way he feels. So he wants out, man. This dude wants out. And then you're in Chicago where you got guards fucking with you. You got other inmates fucking with you. Your head is always on a swivel. You remember, that's where he got jumped at. So yeah, he wants out. He wants to get the word out. Yeah, he's writing stuff down. because it helps the time go by. He got to tell his story. Nobody knows his story like him. This dude is fighting for his life. Fighting for his life. And people out here playing games. So if he think that you can help him, then yeah, he's gonna, he's gonna try to let you help him. The man said that he don't care if a roach helped him. Don't take that personal. Don't get all in your feelings. I don't blame him. If I was in his position and I'm in there for something that out too. Dude been in there for going on 4 years. 4 years. Because people in their feelings. You got one female that was talking shit about the government, was ride or die. The next thing you know, now she going and changing the whole narrative because she in her feelings. Because she heard conversations that wasn't favorable to her. And she was in her feelings. So yeah, when I listen to people like Larry McGee and he talk about what he did, I wouldn't say that he flipped anybody. He didn't flip them. He manipulated. He manipulated people's emotions, manipulated them for them to cooperate and go along with the government's narrative and help the government out. Because by that person helping the government out, helped Larry out. He benefited. He benefited from, I got one. See, we're on the same page, mommy. I was saying it as you was typing it. I know I got one. Is that why Mitch is mad? Levi is mad? Huh? That's why they mad? Because they don't have a ride or die chick? Huh? Because Levi baby mama got him sleeping in the basement? Huh? He can't sleep upstairs? You can't go upstairs, Levi? That's why you mad? Oh, that's why that nigga mad. That's why that nigga mad, because he's stuck in the basement. He can't go upstairs. Well, I tell you one thing, nigga. I'm about to take my black ass upstairs to my wife, and I'm going to get in the bed with my wife. Can you do that with your baby mama, Levi? Huh? Can you do that with your man, Mitch? No. That ain't my problem. But I had a good time. I'm sorry. I should have been asleep a long time ago. But I'm going to end this, and I'm going to tell y'all good night. Be safe, and I'll let y'all know when I'm coming back out. I can't believe I sat in this motherfucker for almost 3 hours. All right? Good night, y'all.
I got a question that most people overlooked. He said, I couldn't have said it faster than you typing. The person he's talking about is Shawn Monet. Well, nobody want to hit the panel. Nobody want grace. And that's cool. I get it. We already got the questions for Shawn. Now for Shawn, not Sharon, Shawn. My question is, why did you change your name or the spelling of your name? Because you used to spell it with one R. Now you got two R's when DJ and Trent was going after Sharon Wimbush. And then when Sharon Wimbush said something about it, you jumped up and said, oh, they were talking about me. But why would they talk about you when they all in cahoots with you and your husband? Make that make sense. Or do you have any sense for that to make? These are questions that I got to ask. And it's been proven that you and your husband are bold-faced liars. But my next question is, what part do you play in this PI role? Because by you leaking confidential information that Rob shared with your husband, that's a breach. And since Rob's information has been breached by the Harrises, that's a violation by itself. So now people need to figure out and see, and the only reason why they keep doing that is because Rob don't know. Now people need to write Rob and let Rob know exactly what Shawn and his wife is out here doing. The same way they orchestrate their people to do other things to people, the same way people need to return a favor and let Rob know everything that Shawn and his wife is out here doing and the manipulation of Robert Sylvester Kelly. Like I say, Trent was going hard talking about R. Kelly, right? So why was Shawn's wife jump in Trent panel and tell him to stop? Make it make sense. Why would she do that? Don't it mess up their cash flow? Wouldn't it mess up their cash flow? I believe so. Then you got Jake and the Fat Man. Want to talk about Mitch and this, and that's cool. And you can call me whatever, bro. You can call me whatever. But I'm going to elaborate on this. Right? I'm going to elaborate on this one minute. Janet said, this is the reason why I don't mess with YouTube anymore, because Robert Sylvester Kelly won't tell DanaJay to stop disrespecting his fans, and this makes me upset real bad. Stop. Janet, let's tell the truth. The reason why you left YouTube because Daboski allegedly took all your money out of your debit account. Out of your account. That's why you left YouTube. Let's go here. When all of y'all was disrespecting me and I didn't say nothing, y'all was cool with that. But then when I returned the favor, now y'all want me to stop disrespecting y'all. Make this shit make sense. And remember the video, Janet? Bozo, 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 bozo. And I didn't even know who the fuck you was.
So then when I come back with a video talking about your HBO, you got mad. I told everybody, you thick as shit. And you got a nice body. I ain't gonna lie. But you stink. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You stink. Your underarms, when them motherfuckers get to going, they get to going. That's all I'm gonna say. I can go deeper, but that's all I'm gonna say. Because when your underarms get to revving up, them bitches go from 0 to 9,000 in 2.2 seconds. That's not my fault. I still accepted you as my sister. And you stabbed me in the back and you tried to set me up in New York with that fat ass turkey neck right here. But one thing you told me, Janet, is those are your peoples. You and Dita Diva Wilson said that y'all fuck with Shawn and his wife no matter what. And y'all have shown that. And that's cool. Everybody picked a side and roll with it. I ain't mad. So why y'all mad when the Dream Team ladies pick a side and roll with it? Why y'all mad about that? So since Janet wanna lie, we all know the real reason why she left. And she said, I'm not fucking with the Debosky no more. He took all that money out of my account. Then you got this motherfucker right here, Trap Jaw, that always got something to say. Then you got this motherfucker that jumps in chats and lie and think, oh, he want me. Man, when would this shit stop? That's my question. Look. You in control of core links. Look what she said. Reading emails. And the question is, where's the lie? Then you got motherfuckers like this bitch. All he do is lie. Okay, where's the lie, Dana Patillo? Where's the lie? This is Levi's stuff. You see she jumping in there, but you didn't want to share your link. You could have brought this, whatever she's saying. I don't know. That's Levi joint. But at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck about them. At the end of the day, nobody cared. Now, last night, we shifting gears now. Last night, I talked about this motion in the middle of the night. I broke it down, right? So for the people who didn't get a chance to hear it, I'm going to do it again. But before I do that, I have to play this.
Tonight, the only thing I'm going to say to Kip is, Brother Kip, you got my phone number. If you want to call me, call me. If not, listen, I have a transcript of our two conversations. And I don't understand how in 1 minute we're talking about, me coming down to Baltimore to meet you to talk. And then moments later, after I told you to call Nicole, you call me back, cursing me out and telling me that Nicole told you don't talk to me. So that's what I want to know. And when I called Nicole, she said that she didn't say such a thing. So I don't know who's playing what games, and I didn't know at the time. But I'm going to tell you that I was adamantly against Kip testifying for Mr. Kelly, because I'm going to give you guys some history. You remember I told you before how Dana was providing information to the government through his YouTube lives. And, yeah.
You know, are you aware that people that are what we would naturally call today informants make $80,000 traveling state to state, getting people to indulge in crimes, only if they can get them to indulge in crimes that they would have committed?
That's called entrapment you're talking about.
He provided.
All right. But I'm talking about, see the way you become an informant for a law enforcement agency is usually you have to be registered. Why are we getting feedback? You got it?
Go ahead.
All right. So when you're an informant, you usually get registered by the detective, the investigator, and eventually in any court proceeding, it can be revealed who that informant is. And that informant, when they're registered, they have to show that the investigator has to show that they received credible information from that person on previous occasions. So that goes to their credibility. So, in my opinion, and based on my experience, that this guy was providing information through his YouTube. So then the investigator doesn't have to register him, because whenever they ask where did he get that information, he can say that he got it from publicly accessible information. So when Dana played that conversation that he had with Kip, that you played earlier, when Kip was talking about Aaliyah, I think that was in March of 2021 or 2020. I can't all my year.
Once again, Dana ain't play no conversation between Kip and Aaliyah. Larry put that clip together and put it out there and for folks to play it. Kip was on my Kip was on my Facebook Live at the time, and me and Kip was talking about Jack Palladino and everybody else. He ain't say nothing wrong about Leah. Kip was on Marcus Divine shit first when they talked about Leah. Larry manipulated it and made it seem like it was something more than what it was. But watch the lie. Now he gonna say because of that, Rob got superseding indictments. Watch this.
Mixed up. But it was around March. And then in April, the government comes out with a superseding indictment.
I got a question.
Including Aaliyah.
Now let's stop and let's break this stupid ass motherfucker down for a second. The government come out with a superseding indictment, right? But they bring in Javante, they question Cash Jones, and they use Demetrius Smith against Rob. They questioned Kip, but they couldn't use nothing Kip said because Kip said everything positive in Rob's favor. They were scared to come get me. So they asked Kip who I was, and Kip said, you know who he is. So once again, where was Dana giving the government information again at? This is what I mean when I say when people will spin shit to make people not like the person that they don't like. Now, it's easy. Hold on. It's easy. Let's finish listening to this because I'm about to go get something. Hold on.
I got a question for you, Mr. Harris.
He said he got a question for you, Shawn.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. If you was around and you seen a grown man taking advantage of a minor, would you report it as an ex-police officer?
Well, as an ex-police officer, as a police officer, you're considered a mandatory reporter. All right, look that up. Mandatory reporters. There's certain occupations that are mandatory reporters when it comes to offenses against children. So that's like teachers, principal, people in the school, law enforcement. There's different caseworkers, psychologists, stuff like that are mandatory reporters. And if you are a former police officer, you took an oath, all right, to enforce the laws. But even as a former police officer, you still have to do what's morally right, right, and what's ethical. And if you feel that a child is being sexually abused by an adult and you don't do anything, then I question your morals, for one. I question your integrity because you're showing a lack of integrity. And it even questions me that you were ever a police officer.
So was he convinced by the tears that shared it in the story that he told that a crime had been committed?
Was he convinced by the tears that he shared and the story he was told that a crime had been committed? Now, are you talking about Kip to Shawn? Or are you talking about...
I'm talking about Kip to Shawn. When he told Kip crying and saying that, this happened and that happened, did he feel that a crime had been committed?
Okay, Shawn.
Do I feel that a crime has been committed with Kip crying and stuff? Yeah. No, because first of all, my whole thing is, even if he didn't report it, say he didn't report it, we know that, all right? So if you felt that it was wrong and you know that it's wrong, all right, then even if you don't agree with telling anybody, why don't you separate yourself from that environment? Right. You understand? So if you're going to continue working there, then that's like you condone it. Right.
Well, he said everybody knew.
But everybody wasn't a police officer, as he claims.
Right.
So you're held to a higher standard. Now, the next thing I got to ask you is, what is the percentage of somebody testifying at a grand jury and then turning around and testifying in the actual case? What is the percentage on the scale of 1 to 100? What's the potential of testifying in the case? Now, percentage of people that actually testify to a grand jury turning around and testifying in the actual trial. What is the percentage of that? It's pretty high. It's pretty high. Usually, if you're not used after you testified in a grand jury, usually it might be some questions regarding your credibility, and the prosecutor might not feel comfortable putting you on the stand, or it would be a legal tactic where they would just try to use your testimony and not put you up there and subject you to cross-examination. So then they'll just try to use just your grand jury testimony. Hold on. If a person testifies to a grand jury and they testify in your trial, are they still bound by the same testimony that they gave to money be available to you.
Yeah. So the attorneys could, the defense attorneys could get the grand jury testimony and the statements in discovery. All right. And so now what happens is, if you start testifying to something different, and I'll give you an example. You know, during Rob's trial, there were several times where witnesses gave inconsistent testimony. Testimony that was inconsistent with the statements that they gave to the government, and that's what the defense attorneys was harping on. And in the summation, that's what they brought up.
Now, the fraud, bro. Who you think you dealing with?
That was it.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that recently too. And I'm like, okay, like, telling me what
me a brief message as well as your phone number, and I will return this call.
Let me let her know I'm calling her. Yeah. Telling me what you telling me for? You know, I don't have any, ties with her.
Think you know, and what you can prove. All right. So just because you hear rumors, all right, you can report rumors, but they're not going to investigate. They might not investigate rumors, but unless you actually see something and you know for sure, you better be prepared. You better be prepared.
Now, the next question I would have is, and I came out of court, I'm like, I wrote off. That's all you got on. You got that on. Mr. Brown, they have to go. And just can take that shit, take you and go. You have to be laying on the ground. That motherfucker will run you down. Only thing somebody texted me the other morning saying that Greg Landfair died. That was it. Wow. Yeah, I saw that recently too. And I was like, okay, like, telling me what you telling me for? I don't have any, ties with him or his family or nothing like that. Right. Let me let her know I'm calling her. Yeah. I don't know if she's still in there. Oh, no, she went back home. I'm sorry. Yes, let me call her on the phone. Hold on. I forgot she went back home yesterday. Hold on.
You have reached Nicole Blank Becker from the offices of Blank Law, PC. Please leave me a brief message as well as your phone number, and I will return this call.
Hello, Kim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I just got her voicemail. So when I get her, what I'll do is I'll call you when I get her on the line, or I'll just have her call you. All right?
Okay.
But I just sent her a message. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So, did that sound like anything that he described?
No.
Want me to play part 2 for you again?
Yeah, go ahead and play it for the chat. Yeah, hey man, do me a favor. Please don't call my number again. This sounds like you're a fucking fraud, bro. Who you think you dealing with? You know I'm a retired police officer, right?
Yeah, so am I.
Okay, I understand, but why are you running around here fucking calling me? You don't think I can pick up the phone? I got friends on the New York Police Department all over the state attorney's office as well.
All right, so what's the problem?
So what are you fucking calling me about, bro?
Nicole?
Be real.
I'm being real, and I understand
how
you
feel. Hold on. Defense, I did off the phone with Nicole.
And what did she say?
She said, don't talk to you.
No, she didn't. She didn't say that. She couldn't have said that. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to call her on my cell phone.
Fucking lose my number. That's all I'm saying. No, don't call me.
Well, you didn't talk to... See? So what's going on here?
Do you think it's possible that Nicole could have sent you?
Say that again?
Do you think it's Nicole could have spent you.
That Nicole could have did what?
Spent you.
Oh, you mean like set me up?
Yeah. Spent you around, meaning, yeah, I'm going to talk to him, but then tell him, no, I ain't going to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that.
She was in the effective counsel. She was in the effective counsel.
So another thing is, why would she be adamant about having him testify on Rob's behalf after knowing what he said on Dana's live about Aaliyah? Why would you want to put somebody that made the statements that he made about Aaliyah and put him on the stand? Yeah. You know? So nope.
So after hearing that, right? I really believe that his wife is running this little operation that they got. But here's what I'm going to say. I thought you said Kip called you. It's clearly showing that you called Kip not once, but twice. And in you calling Kip, the second time, he told you, don't call him back. And he told you why. But wait a minute. It's more from where that came from. Check this out. And the grand jury.
Well, first of all, let me explain something to you. I'm hearing a double echo, Dana. Okay, never mind. All right, here we go. So let me clear the ticket on this. First of all, I made it public knowledge that I was contacted by the prosecution in the Chicago case, and they brought me to Chicago. They subpoenaed me, right? I went to Chicago. They questioned me for 2 days in a row. The New York prosecution team joined the questioning via Zoom, and the reason why they did that was because they wanted me to not have to come to New York as well. So we just basically killed two birds with one stone. First day, they questioned me for 9 hours. Second day, at the end of the first day, they asked me, could I come back? Told them while I'm leaving tomorrow, they said, don't worry about that. So I came back the next day and they questioned me for like another 5 or 6 hours. After that, I got back on the plane and I flew back to Baltimore, and that was it. I never testified in front of or before a grand jury. So if people don't realize, they're talking about I testified against Rob. You don't testify against somebody because testifying before a grand jury is not a trial. So what the fuck are they talking about?
And see, this is what I mean when I say stupid people. And you have a fake ass PI running around talking about Kip and Dana is the reason why Rob got sentenced and got found guilty in New York.
So let me tell you something. If you check all public transcripts, right?
Right.
If you check all public paperwork, anything that's available to the public that's protected under Privacy Information Act, right?
Okay.
You check my name not gonna be nowhere. I was never on a witness list. I wasn't ever on a transcript. I never was called to testify in the New York trial, and I was never called to testify in the Chicago trial. So where the fuck are they coming up with this? How does a person get somebody convicted who never testified?
Well, you got the fake PI along with these crash dummies that rock with Don Russell and all them crazy folks.
Where's Don Russell at right now?
Don Russell's in jail.
Okay, my point exactly. So tell everybody on the internet, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That go sit. That go sit. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this, Kip, because I'm gonna ask you a couple questions that I'm gonna let Prima ask.
Okay.
When the fake ass PI called you, what happened?
Okay, so he called me and I didn't know who it was, so I answered the phone. he introduced himself and said that he worked for Robert or whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, I'd like for you to come to New York because I want to question you. I said, well, I'm not doing anything. Why don't you have Robert's attorneys contact me? And he said, well, I work for them. I said, okay, if you work for them, have them contact me. I don't know you. Let them vet you. And he never did that. And then he was like, well, we can talk. And I just hung up the phone on him and blocked his number. First of all, I don't even know how he got my number in the first place.
All right, so question.
And I had no more conversation with him after that. None.
All right. So 4 days before Robert got elected guilty in New York, when I called you and I said, yo, and the lawyers might need you to come and testify on a Roberts in behalf, and you told me to just have them call you so that way y'all can set everything up.
Yeah, I said, have you call me. Nobody ever called me.
Right. Can I?
You know where I was. You know what I was doing. I was out west.
Right.
I was out on the road.
Right. You was on the road with a Mary J. Blige.
Right, exactly.
So when I called you back and I said, yo, but don't worry about it, and you asked me why, and I said, well, because this PI saying that he got all the resources, but don't worry about it. When I told you that, and you was like, that shit don't even sound right. And I asked you, but I said, yo, a certain person want to know if you would take over as the PI.
Yeah, I told him. I told you, no, it'd be a conflict of interest.
Thank you.
That's what I said. I would never do that. I wouldn't do that. Even if Rob asked me himself, would I do that for him? I told him no, because it'd be, number one, it'd be a conflict of interest because the feds have already questioned me. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
Right. So, I mean, I don't listen to the internet, Dana. I mean, like, we get too caught up in the internet, and people are so uninformed. They don't have they lack no common sense. You know, I mean, all this stuff. Google is your fucking friend. Just Google everything. It's
right.
So much information out here, public information, that's available to the public under the Privacy Act and the Public Information Act. I mean, bro, come on now. I mean, like, you won't see my name anywhere on one shred of motherfucking paperwork.
So you want to know the other thing? They mad because when Blockbender tried to set me up with you, right?
Yeah, he did that. He did that. Yes, he did.
And when me and you got back to speaking good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. Because they had that little unfit drunk player audio of when you was on Phases. But now, mind you, that audio has been taken down. So now Phases had to give her that audio and for her to play it. So once you heard the truth about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blockbender and everybody else got mad. And because at that point, you were supposed to had, hated me. I was the worst enemy ever.
Nah, never. Brothers go through what they go through. And like they say, if you have art with your brother, you go to him. And what I do, I pick up the phone and I call you, right?
Right.
And we chop it up.
Then I let you see how it play out in real time. And because the person that actually put the video together actually sat there and said it. Yeah,
you wasn't jumping around trying to justify yourself. I just saw how it played out, and I was like, damn, wow. They just tried to play me.
Facts. And Phases and all of them had something to do with that.
Yeah.
However, they trying to say, oh, well, Kip outed Dana and this and this and this and this. One thing for sure, two things for certain that I can tell you about Kip. If I wasn't about what I say I was about, Kip wouldn't be here now.
No, well, they must don't know me. And Prima know that too. Prima know that too. I would not be here. Trust me.
And when me and you was on Facebook Live talking about some things, and talking about Jack Palladino and all them, right?
Oh, that was about what, 2 years ago?
Right.
Yeah, that was so
when
long
we was
ago.
talking about that, Shawn went and Shawn Harris went and told everybody this the reason why they brought R. Kelly. They brought Aaliyah, and because Kip and Dana and was talking about it, not knowing that the video was mashed up between my video and Marcus Divine video.
Yeah.
When I talked to you,
I was sitting in the hallway talking to Marcus Divine.
Right. When I was talking to you, you was home.
Right.
When you jumped on Marcus shit, you was on the road.
I was on the road, sitting in the hallway at a building. We just finished the show.
And see, and here's the problem. They mad because, they want to get to where I guess they want to know Rob too, but like I tell them,
Coretta Jones. I'm reading in the chat. Not even know who Dana or Kip really is.
But that's Isaiah's sister, Isaiah Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Thomas.
Okay.
Gospel singer Isaiah. That's his sister.
Coretta Johnson. Yeah. Hey sis, if you hear me, I can answer you offline if you like me to. If you like to know who I am, you know.
Oh, she was saying that they spreading lies, not knowing who we are.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's what she was saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, it's just like I don't even get upset anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the man got 30 years already. The only thing that's gonna fucking free him is if he wins an appeal, right? Right. Everything that we're doing now and talking and communicating and talking about the situation, it's not going to be to his detriment, or it's not going to be anything to help him. You understand what I'm saying? Regarding his appellate process. So we're free to talk about and speak about and comment about what we want to. Right. So I'm speaking freely right now, you know. So anything I say ain't gonna help him or hurt him.
So
in either case.
So let me ask you this, Kip, because I have to go here. How many death threats did you give Blockmender?
I don't do that. I don't give death threats. This is the internet. I'm not trying to put myself in jail and all that crazy shit.
Thank you.
Blockmender know he know who I am. He know what's up. He know what that internet shit. I'm not doing that.
Thank you.
I'm not doing that.
So his thing is that
Levi for Kelly.
He have received massive death threats.
For what?
Talking about about that video that was put out there that you have he received massive death threats and all that. And I was like, bro,
let me tell you something. It ain't even that serious. It ain't even that serious. I mean, this ain't even, if you're not harming my family, if you're not harming my wife, if you're not harming my kids, you know what I'm saying, my loved ones, my nieces and nephews or whatever, you ain't got to worry about me, especially on the internet. I'm not doing that. This situation is not that serious for me to be going out here taking somebody's life or threatening somebody to get myself in trouble, be put away from the people that I take care of.
Right.
I mean, this motherfucker's stupid.
And the thing is,
ZL1, what up, bro?
And the thing is that now, but they trying to go at Prima talking about she a hoe and all this.
They better back up off my sister. Don't play with her fucking name like that. Trust me. Don't play with her name like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, she's a stand-up journalist. She's an investigative journalist. I don't know what type of credit people give her, but I know from my point of view, from my dealings from knowing with her, don't fucking play with her name. And they can call you, and like Tyler Perry said one time on Medea, somebody said, ain't what they call you, it's what you answer to.
Right.
So if you answer to that, then it takes credence. Other than that, it is, people can say whatever the fuck they want to say.
Right. Prima?
Hey, Kip.
What's up, sis? How you doing?
I'm good. But one thing I wanted to clear up, because there's some slow people out here, and I just realized in hindsight, it's a lot of people creating all these fake ass accounts, right? So way back when all this started brewing between you and Dana, somebody commented on one of FaZe's videos under, like it was your name, like it was you, and basically going off about Dana. So from my perspective, I don't know if you did it or not, but the point that I was trying to make is, you know, when we all did that live, I didn't know you was coming on the live. Dana didn't know you was coming on the live. I didn't know y'all was coming on together. So the point was to bring peace to the situation.
Yes,
Nobody wants to get over.
Right, exactly.
That's what they mad about.
That's it. That's all. Like,
Meaning,
for some strange reason, like even the little weird ass dude over there, leprechaun ass nigga, talking about he ashamed. Bitch, I don't know you. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Did you ashamed? What the fuck do I care about your shame when your daughter's on the internet accusing you of some shit, nigga? The fuck you talking about?
Exactly.
Man, these people priorities be all fucked up. Do you think I care about how y'all feel about images from me 8 years ago instead of recognizing people grow, people change? And this system is so quick to put our people behind bars under this pretense of rehabilitation when they know good and damn well that ain't the case.
Right.
That's the shit that pissed me off. Fuck these people on the internet.
Right. Yeah, I've learned that half these people, if you've seen them in real life, that energy would not be the same. You know what I'm saying?
I learned that.
A bunch of weirdos, you know.
Because when I seen them in all in New York by myself, Kip. When I seen them all in New York by myself.
Yeah. The reason why I got my video off is because I'm sitting in a hotel lobby right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And when you're in LA, you do not disclose your location.
Right. Don't do that.
Yeah, not in LA. Yeah.
Listen, when I went to New York and Chicago, listen, these guys are very friendly in person. On the internet, they the biggest thugs ever. But just like you told me, Kip, and Levi told me, there's no need to go back to Chicago.
Nah, ain't no need for this.
Because you know, I was going back on some other shit.
But why?
You know that.
Why, bro? Keep doing what you're doing and keep pushing forward. Don't. First of all, don't let nobody pull you down to that level and to that cesspool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it amazes me. Pretty much, it's crazy that this man got 30 years. He's serving a 30-year sentence right now, right? And he's yet to be sentenced in a Chicago case, right? Which he's been convicted of already. So he's looking at basically, if he get whatever time he get, he's looking at a life sentence unless he wins the appellate process in both cases. Right? So what the fuck is all this fucking drama about?
Right.
People keep stuff going on. You understand what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna tell you why.
One thing we try to do is control the disinformation and public perception.
Right.
That's all we can do.
Right. And that has been my biggest issue with these people. Like, they came on the internet and put themselves with the defense team, put themselves with all these people. I'm just sitting here trying to keep a positive outflow out here, but they over here telling me, no, I can't support her. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. But the point is, somebody need to support this man. You ain't gotta support me. You ain't gotta support me.
That's true. That's 100%.
And for the record, a lot of folks be like, well, damn, Dana facts add up. Theirs don't. For the record, and I'm going to go here, Shawn Harris. Everybody want to know, well, how did Shawn Harris get into play? Where did he come from? I told y'all he was brought in to investigate the defense fund. He was never for Roberts vs. Kelly. Well, you don't got to listen to me. Listen to the guy that works for him. Here's the play.
At that point, once I got in contact with them, MA1 investigation, I connected them to Lisa Kelly. And unfortunately, at this time, they called Terry, I forgot her last name, but she go by Small Fry. And I went to school, I went to school, but I know her daughter, Lachey, because we used to work at this company called West Asset Management, which was like a loss mitigation department for Wells Fargo back in 2009. So, you know, we connected, long story short. R. Kelly called Terry one day, and he said, I love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, get in touch with my sister, Lisa, and Cassandra. But Terry told me this. I connected him. We connected with Shawn. Shawn put together a preliminary report.
Play that again. Hold on, one more time. Hold on.
To Lisa, that point, once I got in contact with them, MA1 investigation, I connected them to Lisa Kelly. And Mark Kelly at this time had called Terry, I forgot her last name, but she go by Small Fry. And I went to school, I went to school, but I know her daughter, Lachey, because we used to work at this company called West Asset Management, which was like a loss mitigation department for Wells Fargo back in 2009. So, you know, we connected, long story short. R. Kelly called Terry one day, and he said, I love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, get in touch with my sister, Lisa, and Cassandra. But Terry told me this. I connected him. We connected with Shawn. Shawn put together a preliminary report.
Hold on, y'all. I was digging up my nose. Hold on. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know. Something was itching in my nose, so I had to dig up my nose. All right. So now we know that Trent connected Shawn Harris to Lisa Kelly, and Lisa connected Shawn to Rob. And Shawn always been in the fold with his wife on different channels, and they were investigating the defense fund illegally, but as y'all heard, that he dropped it because he didn't have nothing else to investigate because everything was legit. So I read the motion in the middle of the night, right? And I'm about to read it again for the people who didn't, you know, who wasn't here, who couldn't be here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read it again, right? Because Lord knows. One thing about it, I ain't dig up my nose and throw it on the floor. I went and washed my hands. But that itch was just, couldn't take it no more. So now I'm going to read this motion, right? And in reading this motion, I know people done went live and read it because it was out. But, you know, who cares that I was the first one to do it? I don't care about that. The word got to get out. So, United States of America plaintiff versus Roberts v. Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, Daryl McDavid, and Milton June Brown. To the Honorable Harry D. Levenweber. Motion for a new trial pursuant to Fed R. Crim P33, where the government concealed impeaching evidence that Jane hired a legal and expert team for the purpose of seeking $13 million in restitution from defendant and falsely testified about it at trial without correction from the government. Now, I'm going to pause right there and I'm going to jump back to Shawn. My questions are legit questions when it comes to him and his wife, right? On top of that, now we see how he came into fold with Robert, which he probably lied to Robert from the jump. Here's what I'm going to say. Hold on. Here's what I'm going to say. That people will always like to say this and say that and do this and do that. It is what it is. But if that man was genuinely fighting for Robert and not trying to get a come up off of Robert, there's nothing nobody can say. Like I said, as a man, you should have been able to talk to me as a man in spite of how you felt. I put my anger and towards you to the side because I wanted some questions. Now, after I asked the questions, then you could have asked me everything. Hold on, I'm getting a text about something. So, wow. So, no matter how you look at it, you going live and saying certain things prompt me to ask even more questions. And at the end of the day, just like when you was investigating the defense fund and you did a whole little spread, the people deserve to know where the rest of Mr. Kelly money went to. The people need to know exactly who denied coming to testify for Robert Sylvester Kelly. And if you didn't have nothing to hide, we can call them on live and together. So that way you can be cleared of any wrongdoing. On top of that, nobody want to know what the defense strategy is. What people want to know is what you've done to help him. And when you turn around and say, oh, what have you done? I could have easily ran down everything I've done. And without telling you the strategy that took place with me and certain lawyers. I could have easily did it. But you're not going to make it about me when it's about you. And the whole reason why you came up here was to answer some key questions, but I could have cleared you. But you ran and made yourself look even more guiltier than you was already looking. For the real people that know what's going on, they had some sort of sympathy for you. But after last night, all sympathy went out the window. That's all I'm saying. But let's get into this motion. Let's break some stuff down and let's see what's going on and let's see what we can say. Now comes the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, by and through his counsel, Jennifer Bonjean, and moves this court to grant a new trial where defendants' due process guarantees were violated, where the government's key witness, Jane Rashona Landfair, denied during her trial testimony that she had made a decision about whether she would seek restitution. In truth, Jane had already had already hired a lawyer and a team of experts to prepare a restitution package for this court that the government presents in support of its claim that Jane is entitled to a whopping $13 million in restitution. Because the government knew Jane had hired a lawyer and expert team to create a restitution package for which Jane paid $55,000 for, that she seeks to pass along to the defendant. Hey, well, hold on. If you don't got no money, you seeking $13 million. You paid out $55,000 here. Okay, let's continue reading. And failed to disclose this information to the defendant, and then failed to correct Jane's false testimony on the subject matter during her trial testimony. Defendant's due process rights under Brady, Giglio, and Nupe were violated, and he is entitled to a new trial. 1. Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33 provides that the court, on motion of a defendant, may grant a new trial to that defendant if required in the interest of justice. The Seventh Circuit has interpreted the interest of justice to require a new trial in situations on which the substantial rights of the defendant have been jeopardized by errors or omission during trial. United States versus Kuzina, case law. Unlike Rule 29, Rule 33 confers broad discretion upon a trial court to set aside a jury verdict and order a new trial to avert a perceived miscarriage of justice. But such discretion should be exercised sparingly. United States versus Sanchez, case law. 2. Jane testified as the government's star witness at trial on August 19, 2022. During cross-examination, defendant's counsel questioned her about her expectations of restitution in the event defendant was convicted. The questioning went like this. Question: and isn't it true that the U.S. Attorney's Office told you that you would be entitled to restitution if Mr. Kelly was convicted, right? Answer: yes. And restitution is money, right? Yes. Answer: yes. And you are seeking restitution or will seek restitution if he is convicted, right? Correct. Your answer was, I'm still undecided with that. No, that is not correct. The question was, and you are seeking restitution or will seek restitution if he is convicted, correct? Answer: I'm still undecided with that. No, that is not correct. Question: you haven't decided whether you're going to seek restitution? Answer: no. Question: but you know you have the right to seek restitution, correct? That is correct. Jane's testimony was not truthful when she claimed she was undecided about whether she would seek restitution from the defendant. She knew full well she was seeking restitution in an extraordinary amount if the defendant was convicted. The government knew it too. Prior to Jane's and her parents' cooperation with the government, they retained the legal services of Boston-based attorney Christopher L. Brown. Brown negotiated immunity agreements for Jane and her parents, and further retained an expert team to put together a restitution package on behalf of Jane for this court. See Brown's attached billing invoice. 5. Although Jane falsely claimed at trial that she had not decided whether to seek restitution, the government produced documents yesterday, including billing records from Jane's counsel, a 9-page letter motion from Jane's counsel arguing for restitution in the amount of roughly $20 million, and 2 lengthy expert reports that reflect that Jane absolutely knew of her intent. Okay. Knew of her intent to seek restitution from defendant on August 19, 2022, when she testified otherwise. Not only did she know of her intent, she apparently invested $10,000. Wait a minute. So right now we're looking at $65,000. She apparently invested $10,000 into assembling an expert team to prepare expert reports that supports an outrageous request for restitution of nearly $20 million, as if she was litigating a complex civil case, absent the burden of proof and pesky causation requirements that would be required in a civil litigation. Stop. My question is, how did she get approved for governmental housing and for Section 8 housing? Well, that's governmental housing. And for EBT funds, when she is putting together $65,000 into a case? We know she got the PPP money, but $65,000 into assembling, well, $10,000 into assembling an expert team, and $55,000 into this case. Wow. On top of that, she was giving Rob and put money on Rob books. And every time she put money on the books, I'm thinking that she was tripling the amount that she won back. But now that we know that money is in play, we about to go down this long rabbit hole, y'all. That's not in a good standing for Rashona and the rest of the folks. 6, not only did Jane give false testimony, the government knew her testimony was false and failed to correct it in violation of NAPEG versus Illinois. A second such violation on the part of the government. As Mr. Brown's billing records reflect, he began discussing restitution with the government in April 2020, more than 2 years before Jane testified at defendant's trial. Jane, through her counsel, retained 2 experts, Dr. Cooper and Dr. Smith, in February 2021. Prior to April 2022, Jane subjected herself to a so-called independent evaluation by Dr. Cooper, a forensic pediatrician, retained and paid for by Jane, who prepared a report on April the 30th, 2022, that is entitled Expert Opinion of Dr. Shawn W. Cooper regarding victim Jane Doe, United States versus Robert Kelly, 30th April 2022, and her report dated April the 30th, 2022. Dr. Cooper declares that one of the purposes of the report was to determine restitution. On August 12th, 2022, Mr. Brown had more discussions with the government related to filing for restitution. On that same day, an expert report with Dr. Smith of Smith Economics was submitted to Mr. Brown that reflected his lengthy opinion in which he calculated the value of certain losses subsequent to the injury of Jane. Jane, through her counsel, Mr. Brown, paid these experts roughly $10,000. Now we're looking at $75,000 for services rendered prior to her testimony on August 19th, 2022. In light of the foregoing, it is simply not believable that Jane was undecided about whether she would seek restitution from defendant when she testified on August 19th, 2022. The documents submitted by the government showed that Jane was significantly motivated by the prospects of restitution to the tune of $20 million, and the government knew this. A defense counsel pointed out Jane's motive and bias was a fair area of cross-examination. A motive of $20 million is a particularly strong motive that defendant should have been able to explore with Jane. The government should have disclosed Jane's intent to seek extraordinary amounts of restitution, which apparently was the reason she ultimately cooperated with the government. It certainly was obligated to correct her false testimony at this point. So now we know not only was it Angel cruel, but the government coerce, entice, and coerce. What's all the words I'm looking for? Coerce, entice, entrapped, and I'm missing another word. Something else with Rashona Landfair. So, what was that? The government should have disclosed Jane's intent to seek extraordinary amounts of restitution, which apparently was the reason she ultimately cooperated with the government. It certainly was obligated to correct her false testimony on this point. Instead, it sat silent when Jane was less than honest about her interest in restitution, denying defendant has right to cross-examine her interest, bias, and motive. Hey. The Supreme Court has held that a conviction obtained through use of false evidence known to be such by representatives of the state must fall under the 14th Amendment, NAPEG versus Illinois case law. Also see Giglio versus United States case law. A new trial required where government failed to correct false testimony by a key witness about a benefit he received for testifying, and the prosecutor should have been aware of the falsehood. The same result obtains when the government, although not soliciting false evidence, allows it to go uncorrected when it appears. They paid case law. When a conviction is obtained through the knowing use of false testimony, it must be set aside if there is any reasonable likelihood that the false testimony would have affected the judgment of the jury. 12. The government will likely argue that Jane's testimony denying her strong interest in restitution could not have affected the judgment of the jury. Even if this was true for the child pornography counts, Jane's credibility was critical in various other ways, including whether she participated in sex acts with her friend Pauline and the defendant when they were underage rather than when they were the age of legal consent. To credit the story that Jane, Pauline, and defendant had so-called threesomes in the face of contrary evidence, the jury likely credited Jane's testimony on this point. Thus, Jane's credibility was important to this count of the indictment, and her testimony questionable where the defense presented evidence that any threesomes that occurred were after the young women were of legal consenting age. Indeed, in her so-called independent examination with Dr. Cooper, Jane failed to disclose any of the threesomes that she testified about at trial, which is arguably itself a Brady violation if the government had access to that report. Hold on. In short, the jury did not accept Jane's testimony hook, line, and sinker on all matters. Thus, testimony that could have further impacted her credibility, such as her motivation to shape her story in ways that were not entirely honest, because she stood gain significant restitution, as did her friend Pauline, was material and could have affected the judgment of the jury. 13. Although the defendant will raise this issue in his sentencing memoranda, restitution is not meant to be a substitute for emotional distress, damages, or punitive damages. The inherent and primary purpose of restitution is to compensate the victim of crime rather than to affect the criminal in some way. Restitution is not intended to be punitive. United States versus Newman, case law. Awards are diagnosed to compensate victims for losses rather to serve retributive or deterrent purposes. If courts are going to permit the government and victims to use restitution statutes as a means to run civil litigation and compensate victims for emotional distress or to punish the defendants, then courts also need to consider whether ex post facto rules should apply and whether the defendant has the right under Brady to know if the government intends to seek outrageous sums of money in restitution. It is difficult to deny that the $13 million could be a very strong motivator for victim witnesses and could reflect on the credibility of a witness. These issues will be fleshed out further in defendant's sentencing memorandum, but for the purposes of this motion, defendant maintains that Jane's false testimony regarding restitution and the government's failure to correct it denied defendant of his due process rights, as well as his Sixth Amendment right to confront his accuser about matters that reflected on her credibility. Okay, so with that being said, I got a question. With that being said, I have a question. And then we up out of here. Here's my question. Since the courts is asking for restitution, and this goes for New York and Chicago, according to the Clearfield Doctrine, it says under the Clearfield Doctrine, the courts are no longer government entities, and that they are demanding private monies and must have a contract with you to compel performance. They are no more special as a normal business than your local Walmart. Did or does this court demand payment in certain species? Did the court make payment on the record or by way of agreement of any entry fees, etc.? If $1 USD is given or demanded species, House Joint Resolution 192 is overwritten and all instruments have become bogus financial instruments involving private creditors, and all enjoined in the fraud may be prosecuted under a variety of statutes. 1. Conspiracy, 18 U.S.C. Section 371. Mail fraud, 18 U.S.C. Section 1341. Uttering a false security, 18 U.S.C. Section 1472. Bank fraud, 18 U.S.C. Section 1344. And possessing and uttering a counterfeit security, 18 U.S.C. Section 513. See United States versus Allman case law, United States versus Hensley case law, United States versus Wells case law, and United States versus Stockheimer case law. So since New York and Ann Donnelly took Rob funds and everything, Ms. Bonjean can enter and she can activate the Clearfield Doctrine. The Clearfield Doctrine is as set forth in Clearfield Trust Company versus United States 318 U.S. 363-371 states, governments descend to the level of mere private corporation and take on the characteristics of a mere private citizen, where private corporate commercial paper, i.e. Federal Reserve notes, and securities, i.e. checks, etc., is concerned. For the purposes of suit, such corporations and individuals are regarded as entities entirely separate from government. Bank of United States versus Planners Bank, case law. Porter Company, case law. U.S. versus Burr, case law. The real party in interest is not the de jure United States of America or state, but the bank and the fraud and the fund. 22 U.S.C.A. 286 case law, along with CRS 1160-103 case law. Governments lose their immunity and descend to level of private corporations when involved in commercial activity, enforcing negotiating instruments, as in fines, penalties, assessment, bails, taxes. The remedy lies in the hand of the state and its municipalities seeking remedy. Rio Grande versus Dark. Panhandle versus Dayon. Private corporations and their offices are not immune from civil damages. So with that being said, Anna Von Reitz wrote a nice tutorial up on the Clearfield Doctrine and how it worked. And this one piece right here, Ms. Bonjean can just hop on for New York. When the United States enters into commercial businesses, it abandons its sovereign capacity and is to be treated like any other corporation. I'm just saying. And then I have Exhibit A from the Clearfield Doctrine that was put into courts. Now, if Ms. Bonjean want a copy of this, I would definitely send her all of this. So that way she can look over, she can research, she can do all that. Now watch this. I want y'all to understand this. All courts were dissolved in 2008 under the Clearfield Doctrine. then became registered companies on Dun and Bradstreet Company search. When governments enter the world of commerce, they are subject to the same burdens as a private firm or corporation. United States versus Burr. Case law, Bank of U.S. versus Planners Bank law. Note, under the Clearfield Doctrine, the courts are no longer government entities, and that they are demanding private monies and must have a contract with you to compel performance. They are no more special as a normal business than your local Jack in the Box. Clearfield Doctrine. Private commercial paper is used by corporate government. Then government loses its sovereignty status and becomes no different than a mere private corporation. Government create and enforce civil laws, known as statutes, acts and legislations created by the Bar Association, set up by the Rothschilds, which are duty bound to compel with the law of the contracts. The law of contracts requires signed written agreements and complete transparency. There we go. Got it all right there. So therefore, Robert can fight everything that was taken from him in New York in more than one way. He can fight that in more than one way. And I mean very much in more than one way. So with that being said, if Ms. Bonjean was watching, if she's watching, she can reach out to me and I'll send her everything that needs to be sent. But until then, no, Dana J ain't working with nobody. So don't even put that loud there. Oh, Dana working with Bonjean, and y'all do Bonjean the way y'all did Doug Anton. Don't do that. Dana J ain't working with nobody. Dana J just calling it out and putting it out there as he see it. That's all I'm doing. Not nothing more, not nothing less. On that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm done.
You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
They are lying on me.
You are supporting a pedophile.
Nothing good about me. I'm just a child molester. The devil. Shut him down. Oh. Come on, guys. As long as my breath is going in and out, I try to, even when I get ready to complain, I think about that and I say, you know what? I ain't gonna even say nothing. I just breathe, baby. I breathe on these niggas, you heard me? 20-some women trapped in my house in the basement in Atlanta. Well, first of all, my house in Atlanta doesn't even have a fucking basement. This is my story. The only thing I could do is say what's real and say what's on my heart and give it to y'all like y'all want it. You want the truth. The ladies in here are live. You ain't even got an education. You didn't even graduate from high school. You don't even really read, and all of this old shit they told me. And I started believing that shit, man. But just something in me kept calling and shit. My heart was pumping this shit. It was pumping this shit. Hey fans, how y'all doing? It's your boy Kels. I love y'all. Thanks for supporting me for the last 30 years of my career. I'm very appreciative of that, and just you guys have kept me humble, kept me grounded, and kept me putting out this music for you guys. You guys inspired me to do it, so I'm gonna do it until you say don't do it no more. Don't say that though. If I met your daughter and I took your daughter out and she was of age, what the fuck am I gonna do? Everybody, put your hands to the sky. You ain't got no money?
Shit. Sue R. Kelly.
Mute R. Kelly! You are controlling, that you are abusive, that you tell women when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when they can sleep, where they can dress.
I know y'all know that shit is ridiculous, but the crazy shit is motherfuckers, stupid motherfuckers want to believe this shit.
That shouldn't be happening.
Every level, there's another devil. Whoever you are right now looking at me in my eyes, look in my fucking eyes, okay? I don't give a fuck about this fame shit. I'm a real motherfucker. My main goal is to unconfuse the world about R. Kelly. I'm ready, yeah. I'm ready, yeah. I'm ready to say what I feel. Keep it real. Say what I feel. You don't know me. You ain't never been in my house. You ain't never been in my bedroom. So you cannot judge me.